So what I'm going to be doing today is showing you how good this gloss sealer is by J-Diction for ResinCrete. But it doesn't only work for ResinCrete, it will work for all plasters like this. And it also works, because I've tested it, on air dry clay and paper clay, which is great. And it gives a gloss finish. It's water resistant with 1 coat and waterproof with 2 coats, which is great if you're making vases. It's also stain resistant, heat resistant, which is great if you're making candle holders. And again, it has the cross product compatibility. So I'm going to do a couple of tests on this. I'm going to do one that I'm going to paint to see how well it paints on once it's been sealed. I'm going to do a vase with marbling in, and I'm going to do a vase without marbling, and I'm also going to do this star because I think that's a really pretty mold, and it was sent to me by one of my lovely members, so I want to use it. So as normal, I'm going to mix up my ResinCrete using a 100 to 30 mix, and I do believe that there's a token on this as well on Amazon, which at the moment is giving you 30% off, so it's well worth getting hold of. I have to say I've been very impressed with it, and it saves me having to mix up my own sealer and keep trying to mix up the same quantities as well, and it's going to work out cheaper for me. So I've got 300 grams of ResinCrete there, so that means I need 90 grams of plain water. I love ResinCrete, as you know. I'm a real advocate of it. It's one of the best powders that I've used. I know there's a lot out there. This is so white when it's finished, and also it cures a lot harder than a lot of the other powders that are out there. It does feel a lot more like porcelain. And you just need to mix this until you've got no lumps in it at all, and you're left with a smooth, almost like a cream consistency. And it mixes so easy as well, much easier than things like plaster of Paris, and it is a lot harder than plaster of Paris, and we know that because I did the hardness tests on it in a video about a year and a half ago, if not more maybe. The other thing is, because it's nice and liquid, it's not a thick consistency, it releases the bubbles really easily as it's curing. So there we go, that's nice and mixed, and now I can start filling up my first item. Now I'm going to fill it up to about there, give it a bit of squidgy widgy, tappy wappy, to make sure I've got no bubbles clinging to the sides, and then fill that mold up, put it to one side. Oh look, we're spilling half of it out. Very flexible mold, that one. And now I'm going to fill up the star. It's going to make a great wall hanger, and I think will sell around Christmas really, really well. Now, if like me, you've under measured there, the other great thing about ResinCrete is you can just add another layer on the top of that, and you'll never ever notice. It won't show layers and things like that. It works really well for layering like this, and also if I hadn't spilt half of it out. So I've mixed up some more. All I need to do now is pour this over here like this, and that'll cure up lovely. You'll never know I had to do it in 2 sections. Although this is quite a soft mold, so the edges are twisting a little bit. Look there, that doesn't matter, does it? Oh look, overpour. Yeah, this mold really needs an outer side thing for it, I think. Look how much mess I'm making. And this one, all I'm doing is a white pour for this. And for this one, I'm going to do a marble pour. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to put a bit of colour in here. And this is using the ResinCrete colours. And mix that around. And then I'm going to leave that to go slightly thick and mix up a little bit more white ResinCrete. So now I've got my white mixed up, what I'm going to do is pour that in here on top of this like that. I'm not going to stir it, and what I'm going to do is pour that into there because I want this one to be quite heavily coloured because the other one's going to be white. Now all I'm going to do is leave these to cure up, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I'm going to do next and how I'm going to seal it and then how I'm going to test it. I think you're going to love this product. Well, I've got some great news for you. ResinCrete have got some great offers on at the moment that are going to be lasting for a couple of weeks on their ResinCrete kits. You've got the ResinCrete Portrait Kit, which I did a full video on, and I love it. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brilliant molds, and they're a good size. Plus, you get a load of ResinCrete in it, and I think that's at $9.99. And then you've got the ResinCrete kit of the Angels, which is a great little kit as well. You get loads of ResinCrete with this, and there's 40% discount off that kit if you use the code below. as well as this flower kit. Now, these have proven to be really, really popular. And you get all these molds in there. And again, there's 40% off that if you use the code below. So check them out. Great Christmas presents for family, friends, or anybody crafty that you know. So these are all cured now because I left them for about 3 or 4 hours. And I always do when I've got a tighter mold to get things out of, because that way you're less likely to break things off while it's still quite damp. So I'm going to demold these. Oh, look how pretty that has come out. Oh, that's come out so pretty. I do love the marbling effect that you get with ResinCrete. There we go with our little Volkswagen bus. I love that. And there's the star. So what I'll do is I will allow these to dry now for probably 24, 48 hours before I do anything else with them. And I always do that with ResinCrete because there'll still be some moisture in there. Now, if you don't want to wait that long, then put them in somewhere warm. Or if you've got one of the curing boxes, then pop them in a curing box and that will dry them out really well. For this one, what I'm going to do is seal it and then show you how you can really sparkle this up. And by sealing it first, it makes it so much easier to do. Well, these are all nice and dry and cured now because I've had them in my curing box for about 4 hours. So I'm going to show you the best way to waterproof and seal these. Now this does come with a little cap on it, like that, so you don't squeeze too much out at one go. But you can also take this cap out if you want, because I want to fill this back up. Now what I've got here is an old yogurt pot, but you use whatever you want. So I'm poured a bit of that into there. And now what I'm going to do is pour that into the actual vase itself and then twist it round in there to make sure that I'm getting the best coverage I possibly can. So I want to make sure everything's covered, and it's almost impossible for me to be able to get my sponge in there. Pouring it in and taking it out until I'm confident that is fully covered. Yep, that's fully covered now. And I'm going to do the same with this one. And this will give you a really nice gloss finish as well. And now this is where you use your sponge, because you want to use your sponge to ensure that you get a really nice, even, thin coating. And that way you won't get any of the brush marks or things working into it. And all you need to do is sponge that on there quite liberally. Look how beautiful and glossy that is. Now this will make it water resistant for one coat, but once you've done one coat, leave it for 24 hours to soak into that ResinCrete, and then go and do it again with the second coat, and then it will be waterproof, ready for your water to go in it. Look how beautiful and glossy that is already. So I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to coat all these, and then I'll show you the effect it has on paint and the effect it has on this one, because I've got something special in lined up for this one. So now they're all coated, what I'm going to do is pour my remaining sealer in here. Now if you do get it on your hands, it is very, very sticky until it's dry. So that's why I've got a glove on. And now I'm going to go and wash my sponge out, because I want to reuse this again, because the sponges do come with the sealer. You get 2 with the smaller bottle and you get 4 with the larger bottle. Well, these have come out brilliantly with just one coat. Look at that. And it's so smooth, and because we use the sponge, there's not a single brush mark, and that's only with one coat. So to make it waterproof, we now need to do a second coat on there, and they're not at all sticky. There's no stickiness to them whatsoever, which is the problem I've always found I've had with some of the homemade methods that I've done. So again, I'm going to pour some of that into there, get my nice clean sponge, so it's all nice and filled, so I can do the outside. Pour that into there, and then in exactly the same method as I did before, all I'm going to do is coat the inside, making sure I coat everywhere. It's not easy to get your fingers in there. Put my glove back on, because this stuff is sticky until it's dry. I'm going to go around the outside again and give it its second coat using this sponge. The sponge method is definitely the best method to do, because you don't get any of them nasty thick brush strokes. And then I'm going to let that dry. Do the same with this one. These ones I'm not putting a second coat on because I've got something different planned for these. They don't need to be waterproof, but they do need to be sealed. Well, these are all dry now for the second time, and look at that beautiful, even glossy coat on there and on the inside. I'm so impressed with this. It just gives it such a beautiful finish. Even on the star, where I only gave it one final coat, you can't really see it as well on the white. but on the coloured stuff you really can. So let's test this now. What we're going to do is I'm going to fill these with water as if we were using them as a vase. We will be able to see if they're waterproof because we're going to leave them a good 24 hours. And if they're not waterproof, what we'll see is dark stains come through. So this one I'm going to paint to see if it seals well for painting. And this one I'm going to gold leaf, or leaf anyway, and see if it works well with this leafing glue. Because if not, what I've found is in the past that when you try and leaf on top of anything porous like this, the glue just soaks in and it doesn't stay sticky on the top. And we need it to stay sticky on the top. So I've got my leafing glue and I'm going to paint this all over, including these sides. I'm not doing the back, and let this dry. And once it dries, it goes clear anyway, as we know. It shouldn't take too long to dry. Today it's quite a warm day. And this one, I'm going to chrome it with the J Chrome markers. I love these markers and they give such a great result when chroming. And I chrome bears and all sorts of things. They're so popular. Yeah, that seems to be going on there really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish chroming this off. And all you need to do is give it a bit of a shake first, then squeeze it, and then the chrome paint comes out. And it's like a mirror finish. It's awesome. Awesome! Big thank you to all my members whose names are coming up now. The membership group is an awesome group of people as well, and it's very, very helpful. There's videos that are just for the members on YouTube and setting up businesses and all loads of different things. If you would like to become a member, then the link for that is in the description below. And also a massive thank you to everyone that got me a coffee last month. I'm currently saving. I want to get myself a little mini lathe because I'd love to start doing some lathe work with my resin, and also a little mini router and router table. So that's what I'm saving up for. So all my coffees go towards that. So thank you very much indeed for the coffees. So that's all lovely and dry now, and it's very, very sticky, which is great news. And I've got my leaf here. I have no idea what colour this is at all because I mixed up the colours. So there's nothing unusual there. So I'm just going to put my leaf on like that. And push it down. Oh, there's no leaf in. Oh, look, that's why the leaf's there. Look, I'm working on this bit of paper because if not, what happens is I get this everywhere and it sticks to my silicone mats, and that's no good. Where if I work on a bit of paper, it's not quite as messy, although I am just as messy, evidently. Look. Okay, so that's as much leaf on there as I want to put because I want to try and get some of these chameleon flakes on here as well all the way around, because I think that is going to give it a bit more of a sparkle as well. And there we go, that star is finished. I love it. I think it's come out really pretty. With having the chameleon flakes in there as well, it gives it that little bit more highlight. I think that's come out so pretty. And that sealer really made a massive difference to being able to use the glue on there as well. Brilliant sealer. Much better than what I've been using in the past. I'm not going to be using that anymore. I'm only going to be using this. I'll be able to hang that on the wall at Christmas. Or whenever I want, really. Well, this has been sitting here now for over 24 hours because I have to be honest, I completely forgot about them. So they've probably been 2 days. There is not one bit of leakage that has come through here at all. There's no stains whatsoever regarding that, and there's no stains regarding that. Now what I want to do is to test this even further is I want to pour this out because I want to see if it's caused the inside at all to go sticky, and it hasn't. No, it's not sticky at all. So once it's cured, it's fully cured, and like I said, look at that beautiful finish that's on there. It looks like it's been glazed without a shadow of a doubt, and it's scratch resistant as well and heat resistant. I love how my VW camper van has come out chromed. I think that's so cute. Make a brilliant paperweight, and again, I wouldn't have been able to do that without sealing it first. And the same with my star as well. Wouldn't have been able to do that without doing it. Comes in 2 different sizes, so if you don't want to spend out a lot until you get used to it, then it comes in a smaller size, but there's also a larger size as well. Brilliant stuff. I'll only be using that from now on. If I've got a discount code for this, I will link it in the description, but I believe if you use my link anyway, then there is currently a 30% discount on it. I'm not 100% sure if that's still on or not, but check it out. Boo that like button, hit that subscribe button, check out the video that I've got coming up next. I think you'll love that if you're learning and want to do more adventurous things with ResinCrete. But most of all, take care and enjoy your resin. Bye.